Hello, everybody. It's 1 o'clock Central Time. Time for us to get going on this show. Got a lot of good questions that came in on my sheets. I hope you all are in here. I don't see any viewers yet, so sometimes it takes StreamYard a little bit to tell us who's where. Oh, there's 4 of you now. Okay. Okay. The first question that I had was, am I still on track for better experiences starting March? Thank you. So I wanted to put something in the garden, so I rolled in the garden for her, and this is her answer. And I will have to interpret it for you, I'm sure, because I have to look at the cheat sheet to understand what the garden's saying. This is the garden I got for you if you're on track. And what it says is, you have incredible clarity coming towards you in this month of March. That is clarity in the tree of life, which is the highest point on the garden right here. And it's really means your path is blessed with clarity and wisdom. That's exactly what it means. That's exactly where it landed. So now what do we look at? We look at where's our mind, because our mind's between two spaces, and our mind is between third eye, which is your intuition and insights are extremely strong at this time and the present, and signs are being presented to you right now on how to deal with whatever the basis of your question, which is about the transition in March, if it's coming towards you clearly. Then at your very core, between fire, earth, air, and water, you've got the body, which means that you're being grounded in elements right now. Catherine, it's really important for you to stay grounded. Go out there, touch trees, touch bushes. I don't know where I know where you live. There's still snow there, but get out as much as you can, or get as close to nature as you can so you can feel it. You've got your spirit is in air, which is great. And it's transforming your thinking right now. This is transformation movement right now. And then coming out of earth, emerging out of earth is your grounding. And much more is going to be brought forward to you. So yeah, you're totally on an acceleration of movement. Great reading. Couldn't have asked for more. Was really excited when I hit through that for you before we got on. Okay. Now, we're going to go back to me. StreamYard's changed how you switch cameras again on me, so I get to mess with it every time now. Okay. Bird just got wings, Annie. Okay. Any messages for me? Okay. Birds just got wings. Space. Any messages for me? So let's see what I can lay out here, and I'll hold the cards up for you. I'm going to use my fairy deck, which if you've never seen, it's really nice. It's tarot. It's all based on fairy symbols. It's a little hard to see in some ways. That's why I don't use it all that often. But today I got a lot of questions about elementals, so we're going to the fairies. And the fairies have been telling me they want me to work with them some more. So we're going to do it this way. And there you go. And since the bird just got its wings, it's probably floating around like a little fairy anyway. Let's see what we got. What is the message for you? Okay, this is a great message for you. It's the 9 of Autumn. And what her message says is, reward yourself for your hard work, being happy and successfully employed, cherishing time alone. So this is telling you, you've worked hard, you've got your crop in. Now's the time for you to cherish and do things on your own. And that's your message for yourself, to just enjoy your life. Nine of autumn is, eight of autumn is winter, winter, winter. And autumn, okay, that's the nine of coins. That's what I thought it was. I didn't want to say that. But that's the nine of coins. That's like the lady standing in the garden with all the good stuff around you. That's your message for you today. So if you're, don't, and I know it's hard when the world's falling around, seems to be falling around apart around us, for us to feel good about where we are. But if you're in a good space, just acknowledge that for yourself, you're in a good space, and accept that and go with it, and then use the strength you're gathering now to move on and to get into new spaces. Okay. Another question that came in off my posting. Any messages for me from the elementals? Sometimes I see little round flashes of blue light and sometimes white light. Do you know what that is? Okay. I was so excited, Jean, that you wrote about that, because yesterday I was up, and first thing I do in the morning is I have a little pedal bicycle and I ride for about an hour to get my heart rate up early in the morning. And I was watching Chewed Up, which is, not a mind-boggling show, but very fun. And it's a cooking show. And I was watching it while I was pedaling on my little bicycle. And all of a sudden I saw this dot in front of my eyes. But it was not a dot. It's like a sun catcher. It was like a crystal clear thing to catching the sun in front of my face. And it started spinning, and then it grew out and out and out and out and out. And I was like, and I closed my eyes to see if I was having a stroke. When you get to be my age, you think those things. And closed my eyes. It was not having a stroke. Opened them up again, and there was the light, and it was growing and growing and growing. And I go, okay, why are you here? And they said, you'll know soon enough. So they didn't want to tell me, but that's information coming from, and what eventually came to me during the day was it had a whole lot to do with the eclipse, the annular eclipse, which I don't know if you know, the new moon eclipse that we had yesterday over in Antarctica was for the penguins. The penguins had their very own eclipse. It's like a black dot, but the rays of the sun stick out around it. And it had to do with energy that was coming to the earth with that message from the moon and the sun. And it's that when I think about the moon and the sun having to work together, and this is what I was thinking about last night about it, is the moon is sort of our dark side, the part we don't maybe want to look at, that kind of shadow self. And the sun is what will eventually grow out and enlighten us. And so we're just in that phase right now where things may seem to be very dark, but then they're really not. They're not nearly as dark as we think they are. So anyway, that's what those blue and white lights, when I was at the hospital, and it was the second to last day, and I thought they were never going to let me out. Mind you, I wanted to get out the night they brought me in. So I'm not a patient. And I was sitting there up on my bed in the hospital room, and I said, oh dear, what's happening to Hogarth, my tree, and what's happening to all my friends out there? And I haven't seen any of them. And all of a sudden, my hospital room filled with little fairy lights, just flying all over the place, letting me know they were there. They just weren't there going to stimulate me enough to get me upset or overworked or not let me rest the way I needed to rest. So what you can do is when you have those flashes, if you don't get an immediate thought about what they are, tuck it away and say, tell me when I can know, and it'll let you know, Jean. Okay. Thank you for asking a question, because I don't get to talk about those things much. Oh, here's another one that's from my own personal experience. Sarah Broyles, Back 40 Studios. You say that you have a ley line. And what was the white patch on your ley line? Well, I'm going to show you my ley line tree. And you see that kind of trail going off from Hogarth? That's when I was like, what direction does the ley line go in? And this is the end of the time that it was showing me. But when I walked out there, it was as if someone had painted a yellow stripe right under the tree and right going out the other side. And this is a really, see this, if you can look around the short little crepe myrtle tree, that green, that's how the grass is usually out there. All that dry stuff, I have no idea where that came from, because that's not, and it has never appeared in the grass again. But I've been saying, which way does the ley line go under this tree? And the universe provided me a map. I mean, as Hogar said, we painted it yellow. Could you have missed it? I mean, you couldn't miss it. And I was talking to people. This is an area, this green space, a lot of people walk their dogs on. And I was talking to somebody and I said, I don't remember seeing that yellow grass in the spring before. And the guy said, we've never seen, and this guy lived here. This place was built in the 1970s. And I think he said he'd lived here since the 80s. And he said they'd never seen that yellow stripe before. So when they want you to know where your ley line is, what that white patch is giving you a way to focus on which way your ley line's running. It's running apparently east from you, for what you're saying. So just gonna say that's how it works. And the dragonfly that I had as on the front of this story, that's from a jigsaw puzzle I did. And let's see, and okay. May I get a spirit love reading, please? Do you see someone coming into my life in 2026? I'm going to use the bunny cards for that. Carol, Jaggy, I can pull a card for you, but I'm going to tell you, if you ask me a question, it'll be better. I'll wait, I'll mark you, and if you don't, I'll just pull a card for you. But I'm talking to somebody that nobody else is paying any attention to that's in the chat. But she wants a reading, and I really am better if I'm directed by a question. When I'm going through readings this quickly, I don't have time to tell you. Okay, let's see. And this is for Leanne. Lena and I don't know. Sing. Her last name looks like she's amazing. So we're going to read for this lady who looks like she's amazing. Come to think of it, we're going to read you in the garden, because garden's better on time than cards. So we're going to cut you over to here. Okay. What can you tell us about this amazing lady and her love life? Is there a season in, oops, that's not the one we want. That just slipped right through my fingers. I got to get focused. In 2026, in this year, so this is winter, spring, summer, fall. And where the most rocks fall is where it's most likely to happen. Well, it's falling out, so it's going to fall out there. Okay. You're gonna meet someone in the winter. This is fall. This relationship's going to carry on. This is why I kept falling into summer. The relationship's going to get a lot closer in the summer, and by fall, you're going to have clarity. You couldn't have a better stone to fall when you're asking for that kind of question. So I think someone is coming into your life. Let's see if we can focus on who this person might be with the bunny cards. Okay. Well, okay. The deal on this guy is he's been through a whole lot. This is a Knight of Wands, and he's been through a whole lot. And he's recently divorced or separated from someone. He's very defensive when you meet him, but he really wants to let his defenses down so he can let someone in his life. That's the Ten of Rods reversed. And because of where both of you have been, Lena, you're going to kind of walk around each other. That's why you're going through so many seasons to get to know who each other is. But he's a good guy. He's just been through. He's been through a really crappy relationship, and we all know what happens when you've been through really crappy relationships. The last thing you want is another one. And then, okay, man. Everybody's happy to see each other today. Okay, and okay, may I have a message from my guides on the changes in my spiritual growth? We'll throw that in the garden too, because that's a real good question for the garden. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Okay. Ooh. Oh, you're all in, and a lot of stuff's going on around you this winter that we're coming up this winter. And 2026, let's see. Your body is in go for it. And that means the movements that are going to happen during this time are going to be very easy for you. The guides are, they say you're listening to them, and also you had your body end up true. And it says, yes, the messages you're getting from your spirit guides are true. You need to listen to them because your spirit is between true, which is spirit is moving you forward in the path of harmony, and also the tree of life, which is really, that's the top of the thing. And it says, but to be very cautious because actions you take, if you just think, well, I need to go do something because I need to go do something, it's not true. Actions, unless your spirit's totally tied into it, are not going to be as effective. But this just says, yes, your guides are really telling you. And the most important one, I think, on here for you is this mind being in water. You need to let go of limitations. You keep getting to a point and then you pull back like, oh, that can't be true. Just keep pushing. I mean, just like water, just let it flow. This is go with the flow. Go with the flow. And your grounding is in water as well. And the grounding changes that you're going in right now, the things that you're going through right now, those are going to become long-term patterns. So, Rossi, your spiritual growth is on a long-term trajectory. You're closer to where you've wanted to be than you have ever been in your life. And what you've got is your clarities between the earth and fire. And use ideas you carry from your past, the ones that have worked. Think about it. If you get an idea, say, oh, that one worked for me before. Maybe I should hold on to it because you have a lot of new ideas moving forward. And they're going to relate to physical changes. I don't know if you've had a health problem that you felt has held you back, but I think you've got the solution to it now. So this is totally a whole, your spirit guides are moving you forward, girl. Okay, let's see who else we got. Should I purchase a car this week? That's a bunny card question. Okay, let's see. Cats by Val. Okay. It's going to be a yes, no. And my yes, no's, I read reverses, so okay, you apparently want to be here. Okay. Well, that's a good one. Yeah, and if you buy one this week, you're going to find the right card that's really going to go. And you're going to get a good deal on it. Um, you've been screwed before about cars, so you're a little worried about it, and you want this is a really big, important purchase for you. But you got the sun. The sun means yes. No, it's a wheel of fortune. Wheel of fortune can be yes. You got 9 of Pentacles. You're in a great place. You got 8 of Wands. It's a great movement. Yeah, that's a good idea for you. Okay, let me see what else we got. Okay, your ley line, if it's the long, okay, I can't, I'm having a hard time seeing it in my eye, but if it's a rectangle, the long way is the direction of the ley line, and the narrower part is the width of the ley line. That's what I'm getting. So, okay. Okay. We're going to ask the peacock for flower beauty peacock rainbow. We're going to ask for some guidance for the next few months. Oh, well, something you've been thinking about going for, because your body's right in the middle of go for it, and your movement is going to be very easy for you this month to move forward. You've got clarity in water, and that you have all the clarity you need. Follow one of the paths that you're on, and it's also right now you need to be letting go of limitations. You limit yourself. You get an idea and then you cut it back. You need to use a broader range of your ideas. That's what your guides are telling you. They're also saying that your mental actions are your guide to abundance. And what's emerging in you is a whole new spiritual sense is coming out of the earth. Your spirit's transforming right now. It's not yet finished, but you've got a whole lot of strengths moving you forward. So I'd say that's your guidance for the next few months is to, when you see something and feel it's important enough, go for it, because you've got the clarity and you're breaking out of your old mental patterns. Okay, let's see. Okay. This is a lady I wanted a question from, and she sent me one. Can you tell me how my remodeling will grow? Will go. Okay. Let's see about. I know about remodeling. I used to run a company that remodeled houses. I can tell you everything to watch out for. Let's see. I'm gonna shuffle these cards over on another table, because if I try to shuffle them on the garden, they get all mixed up with the fabric. But okay, how will your remodeling go? It took you forever to find someone to work with you. It's going to be great. Wheel of Fortune. And I did shuffle these cards, guys, I swear, even though some of them seem the same. Yeah, the remodeling's getting you out of the feeling that you were trapped in a house you were not at all comfortable with. It took you a while. And there may even have been something that hit your house, like a tornado or a storm or a roof leak or something that forced the remodeling. But right now it's going along really well. You feel like you're going into a whole new house, and you're going to love it when you're there, because you get the 9 of Pentacles there. This says it's going to be, if you're looking at a time frame, it's going to be 10 weeks, depending on, since I don't know the scope of what you're remodeling, this could be 10 weeks to October to get it done. But it will get done, and it will be beautiful, and you will love it when it's done. So I hope so. I used to hope so when I was doing it to people's houses too. Okay, somebody wants more randomly about summoning these energies. If y'all have met Dorothy Morgan, if you watch my show at all, and Dorothy does the whole lunar cycle from the new moon to the full moon back to the new moon. And and new moons that are eclipse new moons are the best time. If you think about the new moon, it's like when everything you want to plant is, you plant it underground. It's dark, you plant your seeds, you put them in the ground, and you start your crop then. And you can do that with your intentions, you can do that with your ideas. There's a ton of different ways to okay. There's a ton of different ways to deal with that, and I'm going to switch back to me just because I'm not sure I like voices from the nowheres. And okay. So in the new moon, you plant your seeds, and I know a lot of people don't like to spend the time writing out intentions and doing things like that, but I can tell you my one intention story that I always tell everybody. It was the new moon, and I knew it was the time to plant the seeds. And my daughter and I realized this was in early October, and we realized that we were going to need to move by the middle of January, or we're going to have to sign another 12-month lease. And Casey wanted to move to a place closer to her work, which wasn't unreasonable because she had switched jobs and she had to go through a lot of bad Dallas traffic to get to work. So I said, okay. So we sat down on a Sunday afternoon and we put our heads together, and we described the perfect place we wanted to live. It had to have essentially two master suites in the place, where they had the ensuite and the bedroom together. It had to have a reasonable kitchen to cook in. Casey wanted a fireplace. Don't ask me why. I grew up with fireplaces. She didn't, but we had one wood burning stove when she was little, and she liked that. She wanted a fireplace. I wanted an extra room where I could do my readings and stuff. And it was like some sort of either a bigger dining room than usual or someplace where I could do my readings. And we sort of wanted a guest bath so that whoever was on the ground floor wasn't going to get stuck. Well, I know who's going to be in the ground floor. It's going to be me because I don't do stairs. But and I didn't do stairs back then. So we wrote it all out, and we wrote that it had to be 15 minutes from her work, and not on big roads, not on the big highway roads. So we wrote it all out. And the next Monday was a rainy October day. And rainy October days in Texas are particularly depressing. I mean, they're gray and they're ugly and they're wet and they're cold and they're just not pleasant. And so, not as bad as snow, but it's getting there. So my guides told me, you're getting out of bed, you're going to go find where you're going to go live. And I went, oh, okay. So I run a list of places sort of within this perimeter that we'd come up with. And I just pulled off 3 of them just to see what the market was like, to see what the rental housing out there was like. And I went out and I looked at the first place, and it would have been okay. I mean, we would have been on 1 floor, which is fine. But, and it had a patio, which was another thing I wanted. I wanted some sort of patio space. And I looked at it, it was okay, but they said, but we can't guarantee you we can put you on the ground floor as far away as January. And I went, well, okay. So then I went to the next place, and they were locked up tight as a drum. I don't know how they were ever going to rent anything. They claimed they had units for lease, but nobody to show them to you. So I was just about to pack it in, and my guide said, no, you have to go to the next place. So I went to the next place, and I pulled up, and I kind of had my little laundry list. And the woman said, oh, she said, we have a lot of 2 bedrooms that will do for what you want. But we also have little townhomes. We have the apartments were in the center, and the townhomes were a ring of like condo townhomes around it. And she said, it's too bad because that really has everything you want. But I'll show you and I said, well, let me see the 2 bedrooms. And she said, we've been so full. We're turning several units right now. Can I call you in a week and you and your daughter can come together and look at the units? And I thought, another stall, but I said, okay, fine. And she gave me the floor plan to kind of, look at. And I brought it home, showed it to Casey. She said, yeah, it seems fine. So in 2 weeks, she called me and she said, and so we made an appointment to show there at lunch when my daughter had a lunch break. And my daughter shows up. She goes, Mom, it's really just like 15 minutes from where I work. And I said, well, good. So we go in and we look at the 2 bedroom that she and I had discussed, and it seemed fine. And she said, and when we got back to her office, she started laughing and she said, I don't know what part of heaven you got a connection to, but one of our townhomes is going to become available. And I said, well, when? Because this was like November. And she said, well, the couple's giving me notice, but they want to move. They have a health problem in their family. They're moving back home to take care of an elderly parent. They've lived there for 10 years. So I need to go in and see all what needs to be done. But if you want to agree to sign for it, it's got everything you wanted. It had a patio. It had a fireplace. It had a den. It had 2 bedrooms, both her master suites. It had a full dining room and had a lovely kitchen, and it had a place for our washer and our dryer. And so I said, sounds good to me. And I said, do you want me to put some money down? And she said, no, you won't have, if you'll sign that you'll move in the middle of January, if providing everything's cleared out so we can get you in there, we'll just forego the security deposit, except I had to put one down for the cat or the dog. It was a dog. And I did not see this place till I showed up with the movers to move in. Now, Casey'd seen it on the Saturday before because the couple had moved out. They moved in, recarpeted everything, repainted everything, and had to replace a couple of the appliances because these people had lived there 10 years. And we moved into exactly what we had described when we planted the seeds on a new moon intention. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen to you every time, but I'm just saying that's how you can use moon energy to plant the idea and then watch. And if it's a really long term thing, Dorothy has a long way that you can look at all the faces and see how long you can stretch it out till you can get what you want. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get everything you want exactly when you want it, but anyway, just saying. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Rossi, slow and steady with your guides is right because, leaping into, unless you just get that aha moment, like where you run into a real ghost and find out you're a ghost hunter, it's not a lot of fun. Okay. Okay, somebody, I would like to know if I will meet someone. Okay. And I think I'm going to go back to the table so you can see what the cards say. Come on. Well, maybe we're going back to the table. Maybe we're not. Let's see if we can do it this way. Behave. So we're going to just have to hold up cards. Sorry about that. Sometimes everything works and sometimes it doesn't. And I don't know why, because it's a little light went out too. I don't know. I have a new camera. I'm having to decide if I want to deal with its peculiarities or not. The only good thing about the camera is it's the focus is so much better. You can read what it says in the garden. Singing tree. I need someone. You're It's kind of a work in progress. You're not all that excited about it. You kind of feel like, in a way, you've had so much turmoil in your life, you're not sure what you want to do. But this is a good card for this kind of question. This is a double yes. This is a yes, yes. And it's that you're planning the right thoughts and doing the right things. You just want someone who's going to be honest with you. And quite honestly, there's someone near you who's offering you some of what you want, but you just don't see them that way. See, that's 4 cups. He's making the offer, and you're just not paying attention. You'll meet someone when you feel ready to meet someone. I think it's really all your call, kid. Okay. And I got, how will my new job at the hair salon be? Pamela. Anderson. Okay. Well, it's not the last job you're going to have, but it's going to be better than the last job you had. For sure. The last job you had ended up in some way so bad that you're so glad to be out of there. And I think the people you're going to work with are going to be better. They're going to be better about money and better about handling things. And you're ready to go in and learn what you can learn from this situation, because your last job was a real burden. Now, I'm going to warn you, when this card shows up, the 10 of Wands, that's like you're throwing the burden off. Don't carry in the grudges from your old job into your new job. Go back to being him. Go back to being the bunny that wants to learn. And these people are not going to be great at praising you either. I mean, they just expect you to show up and do your job, and that's what you need to do, and you need to learn from it. But overall, it's going to be a good experience. Just the biggest threat for you is if you carry the grudge from the old job in with you. Okay, comment. What will the rest of my year look like financially, please? Oh God, the rest of this year financially. There's a lot of readers, and especially astrologers in particular that I've listened to, that are really trying to scare people about money. And you can I have lived at times where I don't know where the money came from, but I made it through. Don't tie into, when everybody else gets really afraid about money, don't tie into that. And there's going to be a lot of that coming up because of some banking things, but you're going to be fine. Let's see what your cards say. Oh, you got great cards. Okay. You're large and in charge. You're the Queen of Swords when it really comes to your money, and you've dealt with it well, and you're handling it properly, and your investments are in good hands. Your problem is you have someone who's close to you who wants your money, who wants the money that you've earned. And it's not that you don't mind sharing, but you need to be very careful. This is your card of caution. Don't let someone who's near you drain your resources. Okay. Okay. Any messages from my guides? Thank you. And I can't do it on the garden because it's not there. So let's see what the guides are saying to us. I'm going to have them do it with the fairy tarot, because we're talking about guides here. Oh, by the way, if you've seen that I am now on Buy Me a Cup of Coffee. Let me see. I'm going to kill your question, but I'm going to do your guides, Jean. Buy Me a Cup of Coffee. And they've done the nicest thing on that. Now, if you buy me a cup of coffee, I can not only write you a note of thanks, I can send you a video thanking you for doing that. So for the next month, for anybody who wants to buy me a cup of coffee and help support my channel that way, I will pull a private card for you for that. And I hope that helps people understand. It's an easier way to support me than through YouTube. Is just taking outrageous amounts of money away from us. And it was like 20% or 15% when I started, and I think it's over 40% now that they take if you support me through their little things. And so it's not nearly that much with Buy Me a Cup of Coffee, and it's not that I'm out to do this job for the big bucks, guys, but I have to pay for that lovely camera that may or may not be working. So, think about it. Okay. Messages from Jean's guides. Oh, you've been doing some ego work, they tell me. And yeah, you're heading, okay. You've been doing some work on your ego, and you've been doing some shadow work, girl. Or you should be doing some right now, because through dealing with the shadow work, you're going to find what your goals are, what the star is for you to move forward. And through that, you're going to find such a much healthier relationship with yourself and with your guides, and how to deal in the world. And this is going to lead you on to being a person people trust for advice, and you can trust your own self for your advice. The King of Winter. It's the King of Swords. That's someone with a lot of good, grounded, solid knowledge. And you're going to end up with the Nine of Pentacles. You're going to end up in your own luscious garden, surrounded by all the good stuff. So your guides are telling you, short form, work on this ego stuff you've got. Because remember, the ego is what throws up the shadow work. It's what says, oh, no, you have to do it this way, or somebody told you to do it this way. And it's an illusion. And for you to find your own set of goals, that's what's going to be most important, Jean. And I think you already know that. I think you've started on that part. And that's a lovely reading. I really need to use these cards more often. Okay. Can you tell me if the guy that asked me out to date him is okay? Okay. We're going to go to the bunnies for this one. Charisse. Tell the world's getting slightly more normal. I'm getting more relationship questions than I usually get. Okay. And if you've asked 2 or 3 questions and I haven't picked up your second question, I'll go back, but I have so many people waiting beyond you. I kind of get one person at a time. Okay. Charisse. Ooh. Wow. Did you get a good one? Okay. You've been working on how you view relationships, and that's really helping you. You're ready for a new beginning with someone. He sees you for who you are. He sees you for this strong, competent, independent woman. And this one might be a little bit iffy. He's either a little bit young or he has a child. And that may make you a little bit hesitant about him. But he really comes from a strong family background. So he knows how to create family and how to create relationships. So that's all yeses. He's okay. Okay. Don't come back to me if he's not. He's got a strong juju if he's not. Okay. Any messages about my being accident prone lately? Okay. What's going on with 3 shifting veils? Well, take 2 of the veils off and only walk around with 1. Maybe you got too many shifting veils around you, girl. That was rude. But what's going on with 3 shifting veils and accidents? Well, girl. Well, you're trying to get yourself out of where you're feeling imprisoned. And you want to do it on your own terms, but you don't have the bravery to do that. So somehow or another, you're getting tied to some devilment, something is trapping your ego and not letting it go. But it shows in the near future, you can create a new base out of what you're learning right now. But you're going to have to learn how to walk away from some behaviors or people who are around you. And this card actually kind of fell this way, which means you don't want to walk away from it. Email me. You know how to get a hold of me. But you're accident prone. You're trying to figure out a way to dodge some responsibilities and get out of prison. And you're doing it in a way that's hurting you because you're the Queen of Swords upside down in that reading. And you deserve much better. You do. Yeah. Well, you've got someone who's been avoiding going around injuries. I don't know what it is about injuries, but about 2 weeks ago, I woke up with a pain in my back. And it was so bad, I thought it was a reoccurrence of a kidney infection I'd had years ago. Not that same one, but the same sort of thing. Well, I've done all the blood tests and everything. It's not a kidney infection. I've been to my chiropractor and she managed to straighten it out for a while, but I wake up literally in the morning almost paralyzed because it hurts so bad. And I'm not to the point that I'm throwing up because it hurts so bad, which I did when I had the kidney infection. But there's something going around that's locking our bodies up, and I have to work. I have to try and find meditations to loosen my body. And I went to my chiropractor today, and she worked on me for 45 minutes because she had the time to do it. And I'm going back on Friday to see if it's held. And I'm going in tomorrow to have an ultrasound on my right side because my doctor wants to look for something that can happen with the kind of thing I had in June. And I'm glad he's being as careful as he is. But, I think we reflect sometimes the energy that's around us. Will I get new windows this spring? Nee wants new windows. You're going to come close. I think it may happen in the summer, not in the spring, but I just see that not all the people you need on board are on board for doing this. And I don't know if you own your house or what, but there's other goals that need to be accomplished. There may be they start to work on the windows and then they find out they need to do something else too. It's kind of get the feeling I get that there's another repair job that needs to be done before the windows can be done. Oh, someone's doing advertising for me. Yes, I'm not doing your readings right now, but I am teaching a tarot class. We don't have quite enough people to make the class yet. And I really am pretty stubborn about that because I think you need to have the exchanges of all the people that are in the group. I sent a note out to the people who'd already signed up for it. I will hold it open until I have the number I need. So if you're interested in that, you can go to Crystal Directions and go to shop and you can find out all the details. And it's really a good class. It really is. I think it's a good class. And I've been teaching it for over 30 years. Yeah, it's more than 30. It's got to be more than 30 years because the first time I taught it, I hadn't had Susan yet. Okay, and something. How do I charge for private readings? If you go to my website, it will tell you how to get into the private readings. You don't have to pay via PayPal. It has its own way of doing it, and it does international exchange. So don't worry about that. Okay, and somehow or another, I leap forward. Oh, somebody just saw a dragon flying up in Wisconsin. Okay, here's where we were. What do my guides see for me in the next 2 months? Okay, Bernie girl. Okay, that's where I wanted to get back to. Somehow or another, every once in a while, chat will jump. Okay, what do my guides see for me in the next 2 months? Oh, I'm gonna do guides with the fairy cards, aren't I? Yes. I'll get my act together here. I've only been doing this since I was 12. You'd think I'd know. Things are going to start improving for all of us. If Jeffrey and I are correct in our weekly wanderings, and we do our weekly wanderings in 3-month chunks. So we have this month and the next 2 months already taped. And this week and last week didn't look so good, but man, from now on, it's going to take off like crazy. Oops. Okay. Your start off, your guides are saying the Prince of Spring, which is the Prince of Cups. And there's some actions you need to start taking immediately towards dealing with really looking at your situation, seeing the truth. And this summer, you're going to have lots of news worth celebrating. Lots. Look at that party they're having. Doesn't that look like fun? Okay, and once you start having this happen, don't let yourself fall back into your, oh, but I can't make things happen. Don't imprison yourself with your own thoughts. And then all of a sudden, you're going to have wonderful news coming towards you, wonderful abundance, wonderful exchange of information, sharing of coins. And out of that, you're going to get to a point where you need to let go of people and things that no longer serve you Now is the time to break loose and become your own person, become your own queen, queen of winter. So that's Bernie girl. We won't know ya when you come back from that trip. That's a lot of fun reading. Okay. Ah, somebody guessed it was me because she saw a dragonfly. That's true. So I did that puzzle because I wanted to do a dragonfly. Yes, I would today. I would be manifesting definitely, and write everything about the house that you want to have, every little detail, down to the color of the outsides and the kind of plants and stuff, whatever you want that is important to you. Okay. Okay. Everybody gets freaked out about eclipses. It's kind of like the same thing they have about Mercury retrogrades, but um, it can be a little daunting when you, and plus you can't listen to what everybody says. You have to kind of figure out, no, that one makes sense to me and that one doesn't. So, Catherine, and you're in the middle of a lot of change anyway. So I think I did your long reading, you're in the positive direction. Okay. My son dropped out of college. He's a senior. What do you see for him? Oh dear. Youngins. Let's go see what's going on with Puppy Dog Diesel. I love that name. I don't think I've seen your name before. And if you are new to my channel, if you go and you subscribe to my channel, then you will get notices of when I'm doing these readings. And I'm going to be doing more open readings and me just reading and classes on crystals. I'm going to be taping my psychic profiles because it seems to be an easier way to do it for people. I'm taping Irish Granny tomorrow, and I'm taking Dozen Cats on Saturday. He just felt it was too expensive. It's too dear. And he's not doing what he wants to do. He has an idea of a job he's going to, or he's landed another job that will get him out of there. And even though maybe breaking your heart, it's not breaking his heart, and he's going to be able to move on and move on swiftly. I think he's done the right thing. I think he got what he needed to out of college. He may go back at some point and finish the degree because he's going to but I don't think the world's nearly so hidebound. You got to have a college degree like it was when I finished school. Having a college degree really meant something. I think a lot of colleges have cheapened the value of what they offer, and so it doesn't. But whatever he was studying didn't suit him, and he has an offer that may be a one-of-a-kind offer. Well, he's not the best thing because the Epstein files, but Bill Gates was a college dropout and went on and built the business he wanted to build. So just saying, I hope he doesn't go all the way Bill Gates went. Okay. If you want to know what I charge, go to my website and see, because I have different kinds of private readings that you can see. I'm not being evasive. It just depends on what kind of reading you want. If I say one number and then you go and it's another number, you're not going to like it. Okay. Okay. Somebody's job is changing. Will it work in my favor, or should it be moving on when the change completes? Okay. I'm going to see what's happening around Sage Burner's job, and maybe that'll give me the answer. Because when you can't ask a question that could have two different outcomes, I do yes, no's. I don't do decision trees. So I can't say yes to this point, no to that point. If you ever watch Scott and I read on Sunday, sometimes we'll lay out two sets of cards, one for one outcome, one for the other. I'm going to see if this is going to work out in your favor. And if it's not going to work out in your favor, then you know the other answer. Okay, you got two options. It's either going to work out in your favor or it's not. But whoever, it's going to lessen the amount of pressure on you. It's going to let you do, and from then on, it seems like it's a good move. This is the future. You're going to be working with companionable people, and you'll have more control, which I think has been your main gripe. Your thing is, you're really, really good at practical things, and you've been working with a dork who's not a good leader. So that's what's made you want to feel like, oh my God, I need to be out of here. But in the future, I see that you just need to go through the changes and see how they come out, because I see they're going to bring in some good people for you to work with. And you're going to be viewed as a person that people can put in charge. And I've had those kind of jobs. Okay, let me quickly scan down here. And I think I'm about to say goodbye. And if I didn't get... Okay, I've answered. And people, when you write the same, the fact I didn't get there doesn't mean I'll never get there. The fact you put the question in more than once is, I know we try to do it in capitals, but yeah. Okay, and people are talking about buying me a cup of coffee. A person who wants to know, yeah, Sasquatch is one of your new guides. And Sasquatch and Yetis and all those guys, I think they're aliens. So you're getting guidance from off the earth. I try to have a bit of humor. Yeah, stiff, achy body. You can have my stiff, achy body to go with yours. Yes, Yes, I've got people working with me on so many levels, but it's been tough. Since I decided to not die, it wants to take it out on me. Okay. The questions beyond here are all long-term questions. So all I can tell you is, if you want to make sure, hi Mary McSorley, I'm working on your grid. If you want to make sure that I can get to your questions, subscribe to my channel, which costs you nothing, and then you'll get the notice, and then you can post. Yeah, Sasquatch. Well, the image of Sasquatch and whatever it means to her is her guide. So that's what's important. And I want to thank everybody for being here. If you've been at all interested in tarot, you can write me and I'll send you more details if you don't find it on my website. We all need to be working on something to improve ourselves right now. We really do. And Jeffrey and I are going to run a good class. It's going to be a lot of fun. People who've taken the class really like it. They've created sort of a sisterhood, brotherhood. And person who's got Sasquatch, she was working shamanically. That will work. That would work with shamanic things. But I need to go, because I need to go rest. And I will continue to feel better. And I hope all of you all are feeling better. And Debbie, 3 Shifting Veils, email me. Bye.